Hey guys, it's Niki Jabbour for Troy Built Canada, and I want to talk to you about one of the best bulbs to grow for holiday and winter color, and that's Amaryllis. Amaryllis are tropical bulbs, and you can buy them pretty much at any garden centers, come autumn. And you can see they often look like this, which means they already have a flower started to grow, or sometimes they look more like this, and you don't see any flower bud emerging yet from the neck of the plant. But there are so many forms and colors. There's singles and doubles and really unique different types of Amaryllis to grow. And I like to grow a mixture, and I like to plant them at different times as well, so that we have really months of Amaryllis blooms inside our home and not just a few weeks over the holidays. It's really nice to stretch that out over a longer period of time. So I want to show you how to plant these guys. And like with paperwhite bulbs, there are two ways to plant Amaryllis. You can plant them in pebbles and water, or you can plant them in pots with potting mix. Now, if you're going to plant them in pots, you want to make sure your pots do have drainage. Drainage holes are important because Amaryllis are not going to be happy if they're sitting in a lot of water. And I think we should get started. So let's plant up these guys. I'm going to show you how to do it again in soil and pebbles, and let's get started. Once you're ready to pot up your Amaryllis bulbs, there's one step you don't want to skip. You want to give the roots a soaking for about an hour before you plant them up. That helps hydrate the roots and helps them start growing quicker. So you can kind of look at the roots as well once they've been soaked, and you kind of see some of them are a bit brown and shrivelly, and some of them are white and quite fleshy. And the brown shrivelly roots like this, you really want to clip off. They are not going to grow. And if you're planting them in water and pebbles, they're probably going to rot underneath the water, which could cause an odor or bacteria to grow. So I like to clean up the bulbs and the old roots before I plant them. So once you've got the brown roots trimmed off, it's time to plant up your bulbs. Now, as you can see, this bulb is already sprouting. This bulb doesn't have any sprouts yet. So if I want one that's going to flower quicker, maybe I'm just a little behind on my holiday Amaryllis planting, pick one that's already has some buds emerging. Even one like this, the buds aren't quite as up, but you can see that they're coming sooner. So these guys are going to bloom probably at least a month, maybe even 6 weeks before this one that has no sign of flower buds emerging. So just something to take a peek at as you're getting ready to plant up your Amaryllis. So it's time to plant these up. Let's pot them up in some potting mix in containers, as well as some pebbles and water. When planting an Amaryllis bulb, I like to use a heavy terracotta or clay pot. That's because as Amaryllis plants grow, they're a little top heavy. They get these long stems topped with big, beautiful flowers, but if they're in a plastic pot that's not very, heavy weight, they can topple over. So using a heavy pot is definitely a good idea for a bulb like Amaryllis. As you can see, this one has been trimmed. It's ready to plant. It's been soaked, and I have my heavy clay pot here. Now, it is half filled with potting mix because like with paperwhite bulbs, you want a portion of the Amaryllis bulb to be sticking out of the soil. Usually about the top third is going to be sticking out of the soil, but you also want a pot that's the right size. So how do you know what the right size is? It's going to offer about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of clearance on either side of the bulb. So this guy is the perfect size. I've got about 1.5 inches on either side, and it's going to sit in there nice and snug and grow really well. I should probably, of course, take off the tag. This is a beautiful double type of Amaryllis with pink flowers and white, creamy white petals. So pretty. I love this one. And if you do have certain varieties you love, keep the tags from year to year so that you know which ones to buy the subsequent years. So let's plant this guy now. I've got it sitting on top of the potting mix, and I'm just going to kind of nestle it in there and make sure the roots are pressed down. And I've got a little bit of clearance around the outside, and this is where I'm going to add a little more potting mix nice and gently. I don't want to really get it all over the top of the bulb, and press it down as well so it does come in contact with the soil at the bottom. Just kind of get it all the way around. And again, this is such an easy project. Kids, anybody, novice green thumbs can easily plant Amaryllis bulbs for holiday or winter color. So look at that. That's done. I mean, how easy was that? Once I've planted my Amaryllis bulb in potting mix, I do like to give it a little bit of water. So just give it a little water all the way around. And I do make sure, of course, I put this on a saucer, so when I do water it, it doesn't leak out. You won't have to water too much until it starts to actively grow. Once the Amaryllis plants, the leaves, the flowers emerge, it will start to use more moisture. So at that point, you will have to water more. Make sure the soil is lightly moist, but you don't want to have it sitting in wet soil because it could rot. And if you want to be a little bit extra, and who doesn't, especially around the holidays, get yourself some sheet moss, and you can get this in so many different colors, and just put it around the outside of the bulb, just to add a bit more color, a little more whimsy to your Amaryllis display. And as it grows, it'll just be really pretty as well. Another way to grow Amaryllis is in pebbles and water, just like you would paper white bulbs. So this is a beautiful Amaryllis bulb that's going to be blooming really in not too long. So let's plant it up in some pebbles and water. Hands are still a little dirty, but that's okay. We're going to put about 3 inches of pebbles in this glass container. And you can use terrariums, you can use vases, you can use a pot, anything without holes on the bottom. So you want to get a couple inches, say around 3 inches of pebbles here. And this is just going to act as an anchor for the roots of the Amaryllis as they start to grow. They'll grow down through those pebbles and it'll help hold them in place. So I'm going to place the bulb right on top, and then I'm going to place more of these pebbles around the outside. Do be careful, you don't want to shatter your lovely glass container either. So let's put these on the outside. There we go, almost done. And then again, the roots will grow into the soil as the plant starts to grow. Easy, and now we just want to add water. And you want to add enough water that it comes up to the bottom of the bulb. We do not want the bulb submerged or sitting in water in any way whatsoever. So I'm going to actually take a good look. As you can see it here coming up, the water level. So I'm going to have it so that it comes, there we go, right up to the bottom of the bulb and stop. That's it. And as it grows, it's going to start to use more water, and the water will evaporate too, of course. So monitor the water level and add more as needed. But for the most part, that's it. Other than occasionally watering this plant, you can now place this in a sunny, a well-lit room, a window, on top of a mantle, and enjoy it, because it'll probably be blooming now with this guy in about 2 weeks, I would say. Well, that's it. That's all you need to know to grow beautiful Amaryllis for the holidays or for winter color. You can plant them up in pots with potting mix or pebbles and water for a beautiful display. So my only question is, are you going to be planting up any Amaryllis bulbs yourself this year?